So these two players, so Snell and Hader, they're still hanging out there on the free agent market.
They are still unsigned, and we are now, the first spring training camps open February 8th. Dodgers, Padres. Why? Because they're playing in Seoul, South Korea in early March.
Oh, they're starting early.
They're starting. I've never seen a baseball training camp open February 8th. The Dodgers open before the Super Bowl is played. Amazing. Anyhow, the Padres storyline. Why is Blake Snell unsigned? Why is Josh Hader unsigned? There's still a ton of guys out there, and clubs are refusing to grossly overpay for mid-level guys. And a lot of big money's been spent on what few marquee free agents have gone and the players from Japan and what Ohtani accomplished. I asked around over the last 48 hours to all the people I network. Blake Snell's asking price is 7 years, $210 million.
Ooh,
that's $30 million per season. Blake Snell, historically, is a 5.5 inning pitcher per start. 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to pay $30 million per season for the next 7 years for him to go out and pitch 5 2/3 innings every start, because that's the number. With the Padres, he pitched 50, 128, 128, and last season, a career-tying 180. He's thrown for 180 innings only twice in 9 years in Major League Baseball. Yankees were interested, but not at that price. Toronto is interested, but I don't think they want to go 7 years. Red Sox, Angels, in and out of the mix. I don't think either one there. I wouldn't go more than 5 years for the guy. But who's he represented?
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras, 7 years, $210. So, John, are you going to pay him $30 million per year to go 5 innings per start for the next 7 years? The Josh Hader situation, all the junk that came out of his mouth at the end of the season, I think has really hurt him. Now, there is a new buyer out there. The Cubs are interested. Why? Craig Counsell, Milwaukee manager, had a good relationship with Hader in Milwaukee till the Brewers decided we're stop paying players or getting rid of them. Counsell's a manager at Wrigley Field. So maybe there's some linkage between Craig Counsell, Josh Hader, and I think the Cubs need a closer, but at what price? $20 million per year. Now, maybe on a short-term deal, 2 and 3 years, maybe you do that. But what he said, I think, has chased people away. You know, just memory refresher. Padres are fighting for their lives, trying to get into the damn wild card, much less no longer being available
right.
to win the division. And Josh Hader was balking at pitching back-to-back days. And then Josh Hader was balking about going out there and pitching back-to-back innings. He did not want to have to go get 4 and 5 outs. He's had some arm problems. He knows his strength. He put together some mystical numbers for the Padres outside of maybe a bad 5-week span at the end of that first year. But evidently, this whole thing and his response at the end of the season to one of the beat writers is when they asked him, why don't you want to go for 5 outs an outing? Or why won't you go Tuesday and Wednesday back-to-back? He made the comment, are we in the playoffs? I think the junk that came out of his mouth has devalued him a little bit, which is too bad because I think he's as good a closer as there is in modern-day baseball. But so you tell me, you're giving Snell all that money for 5 innings per start. Can you forgive Hader for stupid things he said?
Well, Nolan Ryan needs to get a hold of Josh Hader and smack him around, get him in a headlock and give him a noogie. I mean, because Nolan Ryan would pitch like, God, he would go 10, 11 innings
sure
in some of these games. And he was in a 4-man rotation. He'd come back and pitch again. So yeah, that was weak, what Hader was saying. And, you know, even if Hader was willing to pitch 4 or 5 outs in a save, $20 million is a hell of a lot of money for a closer. I mean, how much is Diaz getting in New York?
Well, he signed a huge extension. He's getting monster money there too.
Yeah. So, but
Diaz didn't say that junk.
No, but he was injured. But yeah. And then Snell, I think he changed the way he pitched this past year, especially with Gary Sanchez, and he was going longer innings. And I think he wasn't sweating the walks as much. And as a result, I think he had better performance and he was able to have a lower pitch count for a longer number of innings. He may have figured it out. But when you are talking about signing a guy for $30 million a year and you're not sure what you're going to get sometimes
for 7 years,
and then meanwhile, maybe you got a hot young prospect and you're figuring, well, if Snell has an off year and I get like a 4.5 ERA, why not bring up my AAA pitcher that'll give me a 4.5 ERA at the major league minimum?
Except that John Riley, you signed him, so therefore you're paying him for 7 years, whether he's good or bad.
Well, that's why I think they're kind of hesitant to make that deal. But Boras is just driving this thing. I wonder if they're going to maybe set the price too high.
I wonder if Snell is going to regret when spring training opens if he does not have a deal and if his price has to come down.
Yeah, it could happen.
Interesting. One other baseball